started here. So, I've already forgotten the first thing I was going to say. All right, I have to tell everyone I love you all.
We love you too.
I love all you guys. I always, for the rest of my life, want to be the last person to leave a hug with every single one of you. So if I hold on real tight after today, you know why. Anyway, I describe my comedy, which hasn't really happened yet, as playfully offensive. So, you know, go with me here. Just a little bit at a time. Have you ever heard of the ancient Greek god of frozen fruit on a stick? Popsicles? Okay. Yeah, we got started. There's going to be a lot of breaks in between jokes. You should know this. All right. So, now that we're on the same page, I had this really good idea in the shower while I was doing belly smacks this morning. And the reason I had this good idea is because a couple days earlier, I was watching general punditry television. And we're not going to say who the sides of the conversation were, but it generally went something like this. Sir, this group that you represent, that you love, that you basically treat as family, and they are your heart, they're terrorists, right? And the guy was trying to, the entire time defend himself and basically say no. And all the other guy could really say was, just answer the question, answer the question. It's a yes or no question, answer the question. What are you doing? Please answer the question. The rest of my show is going to suck if you just don't answer the question. And it was at that moment when I realized it was so useless that there's this quite huge irony in punditry television where we have people on to speak about issues, and it would ironically be better if they were required not to speak at all. And this is actually a thing. I'm calling it muted punditry. And basically, you have 9 screens with 9 different faces, and people have to take turns writing things onto paper in order to say them. And they have to be nice responses to everyone else's thing, and they actually don't get to talk at all. In fact, they have to wait their turn in order to type something entirely ignorant. And then everyone knows about it. That joke is rare in that it doesn't really end so much with a laugh as like, oh, that's genius. All right. Tune in. All right.
Oh, I get it.
So, many of you men might not know this, but girls have this little bag that they hide underneath their arm, and they just squeeze it like this, and then they walk around and it carries all of their valuables in it, and it's called a clutch. And I didn't really know this, it's kind of freaky, but that's weird because it's named after the verb they do when they have it on them. You know, they stick it in there, they clutch, they get their chicken wing, they watch parties, and it's not at all awkward, right? And, there are a couple other examples of this. For example, blush. Right? Makeup that is what you're doing when you have it on you. Which is just a good tangent into something else that I want to talk about, which is who came up with makeup? Because it's been around for a pretty long time, and I'm just super worried, ladies, that it was the old patriarchy. And I'm really sorry about this, but I get the impression it was just a bunch of ogres standing around a single table, screaming, yelling, drinking, being dicks. And one guy screams out, "God damn it, the women don't fucking like us anymore." And the other guy goes, "Well, paint their faces so they fucking look like they do." All right. Back to the original thing, which is naming things after the verb you do when you're on them or have them on you. What if, like, your steak was called your eating cows? Or, I don't know, Your beer was called your Burpin' Louds. I don't know if you noticed, I just rhymed there. So rappy, little rapper. So really, the thing I want to do, this joke was actually called Being Cool, because I want to name my shirts Being Cool, because that's what I do when I'm good. Joke 3. Over and out.
Good job.
This next one's a real chancer. So, recently and pretty much always, people are always like, especially at work, hey, how you doing? And the answer they want is not much, how you doing? Because that's really it, especially like uneventful, go away, bye. Nobody wants the real answer to that question, and I'm sick of it. I'm not having it anymore. I think when I get into an elevator at work next time, someone's going to be like, hey dude, how you doing? And I'm just going to be like, oh, so good. I saw a totally new television show last night, and I made nachos, and I slept for at least 3 hours before I get up to go to the bathroom. And I just think everything's going up from here, man. How about you? And just see how they respond, or if they leave really early. That was good. Sorry. The real punchline of that joke is, oh, so good. That was what I had. All right. So, I've been thinking also really hard recently about all of the foods that I both love to eat and fuck. So, you got your obvious ones like donut, bagel, tuna fish tacos, you know, all the basics, really, the ones you guys would think of. But then, you know, what about like some eggs Benedict? You know? Maybe, I don't know, some penne pasta. You guys got any good ones out there? Anyone miss them? Maybe like a tofu spring roll? No? Okay. Next one. So, I'll be honest, I learned remarkably few things in college.
Beer pong.
It's kind of embarrassing. I did learn beer pong. Way to go, bro. The Empire Strikes Back, whatever. So, one lesson I did learn, though, is avoid doing negative acts that will define you for years to come. Because it doesn't really matter in college if you get straight A's, score hot chicks, you know, write a sweet thesis, because if one night in exchange for $20 you consciously pee your Bermuda shorts at a frat party that's crowded, that's all anyone's going to really think about you. That's just going to be, you're that one thing, and that's pretty much it. That's what I learned in college. 'Cause that's all you're going to be known for the rest of college. All right. The frat part was a poor improvisation.
How about Zach graduation?
The point is even if you invent Facebook and you pee yourself at a party, no one's going to remember you as the guy who invented Facebook. Speaking of Facebook, I think we can all agree there are 4 things Facebook is for. Working out personal hardships, hashing out arguments, shameless self-promotion, and dick pics. Alright. That one really didn't land as hard as I was hoping. Dick pics are too mainstream these days. Anyway, I recently came back from a trip from Boston, which is, you know, a cool place, and there are a lot of great things you can say about Boston. Hold on. But I wouldn't necessarily call the people nice. It's not really like a nice place. And I don't really care about that, they're blunt honest, I dig it. But it's somewhat pervaded and trickled down into the basic courtship routines that happen between Bostonians. And basically, Bostonians go to a bar, and the basic bar dating strategy is go to the bath, get hammered, find the hottest chick with the weakest boyfriend, beat him up. Because there is a 100% chance she's not staying with him, because that's just not how Boston girls work. And there's maybe a 50% chance she's hooking up with you. Those are pretty good odds. Beat up 4 guys at 4 different bars, hopefully, because you probably get kicked out. And you pretty much locked it down. And then Boston girls are kind of a whole nother race, I would say. Now, let's just call them a whole different species entirely. They will get jealous of you before you've even left the bar having met them the first time. So say, and not saying this from personal experience, someone is hitting on a Boston girl at the bar, first met them there, it's going pretty well, but they have to take a tinkle and leave. They go to the bathroom, they come back, she's talking to some other guy, they get a drink at the bar, all of a sudden she storms back over and goes, hey, what are you gonna do? Just let me talk to that guy? What? What are you, queer? Hit on me, take me home! It's like, easy, I seem like a nice guy. I was gonna give him a chance, you know? Next! Alrighty. This concludes it all. So, have you guys heard that song on the radio? Rude. It's like, why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know I'm human too? It's terrible. So, I tried to deface it as horribly as I could. And this is a parody of that song about a guy who just keeps going out and accidentally hooking up with transsexual hookers. And he's just left with that age-old question, really, of once you find out, do you bust anyway? Oh, gross. Okay, here's how it goes. Saturday evening, went down an alley, trying to pay for sex. I met this girl, her name was Sally. She said, Sonny, you're up next. Got in the car, negotiating. Didn't have much cash. I didn't care, I wanted filleting. Oh, can I get a Hummer for $70? Say yes, cause I need a blow. Then I felt some stubble on my mushroom tip. That's when I knew Sally's a pro. Oh, why you gotta be a dude? Munching on my dick like food. Oh, but yeah, it feels so good. I'm ejaculate anyway, ejaculate, yeah. Ejaculate anyway, ejaculate, yeah. Don't give a shit if it's gay, ejaculate, yeah. Oh, la 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 la. Why you gotta be a dude?